Greetings, my name is Eric Lang, and this is the latest installment from my channel, Author Eric Lang, on YouTube. And today's topic, taken straight from engagement, focus, intention, and project management, is another people-centric project management phenomena, one of those human psychology artifacts that repeats over and over again in project execution. This particular one, I figured out years ago, I gave the name of the derated derate of a derate. And this is when there's some characteristic in the project, and due to risk aversion and other concerns, when one is enough, two must be better, and three would be best. So we'll just keep adding to it. And I have an example in the book. I'm going to read it out loud because I think it really kind of exemplifies it. Say a cabinet requires 10 screws to put together. What happens if one of them is missing and only 9 are shipped? Or the final customer drops one and it rolls away and they cannot find it. Shipping 11 screws with every cabinet solved both problem scenarios for the cost of a single screw. So you're averting multiple problems by adding a single relatively inexpensive screw. Then at shipping, the bag 11 screws is thrown in a box. The person who does this is worried if one bag is enough. It would be terrible if they did not have enough screws, so they toss in another bag, just to be sure. At the distributor, there's a meeting about customer complaints around missing screws. So they have extra bags shipped in, and every cabinet going out will have this extra bag taped to the box. The customer gets the cabinet. When they're done assembling it, they're wondering if something is missing because they have all these extra screws. You see the derated derate of a derate come out in projects whenever there's some sort of a quantity or a target of some sort. It's maybe a variation of what they call sandbagging. I would think of sandbagging more as time-related. You see it in product development where products will have some numerical characteristic like a temperature rating, and some manufacturer will say this is rated to this temperature, and then they'll cut something off of that and say that this is our temperature here for our company. And then the engineer doing the project will say, we'll do better than that to make sure that we're just absolutely sure. And then the customer receives the product and they go even lower than that because they want to be sure as well. And when you start stacking on those derated derates of a derate, you're spending a whole lot of money for something that you're never going to use. You know, why are you buying a car that goes 100 miles an hour when you're never going to drive it more than 20 miles per hour? Or why don't you trust that the car can go 100 miles per hour and actually drive it that way? So that's how a derated derate of a derate comes out. The section of the book on this at the end there, don't pile on or add margin just to be careful. Actually have a fundamental understanding of what really is required and how to achieve that. And this is often gets into a mathematical discussion, which isn't a lot of fun, but it's important when you're in projects where numbers are involved. Where do those numbers come from? What do those numbers need to be? What is the confidence in those numbers so that you don't go down this risk aversion, derated derate of a derate path, which will fundamentally drive up costs, extend time, and honestly, it does an inverse of a value delivery. It removes value from the product. In past roles where I've been involved with electronic components, the manufacturer has a Six Sigma reliability number associated with the temperature rating of that device. And those numbers those Six Sigma numbers are huge. I mean, they'll last forever at that temperature. And then you'll see this shaving off and shaving at every step in the project. Someone comes in and takes something off to just make sure that we're going to hit our reliability target. And there's never a number associated with that. So it's done as a kind of a gut feeling type thing. And I certainly respect intuition being applied in a project. But when you get into numbers like that and there's multiple layers that are handling it, as a project manager, it behooves you to inspect changes in quantities as they work their way through the project and different contributors. Otherwise, you'll end up with costs spiraling out of control, or you're not meeting specifications simply because you've added additional risk aversion margin that was unnecessary. So when you see this, like all people-centric project management phenomena, now that you're aware of it and you go on a project, you will see it. There's no way to unsee it. and the realization will dawn very quickly. And you, as project manager, will then have the tools that you need to, after identification, remove this as a challenge to your project. This fundamentally does increase project velocity and increase project quality, especially around delivered value. Derate of a derate removes value from a project, and identifying the project manager and preventing this risk aversion behavior brings value back into the project. So that's really the fundamental value here. So that's your people-centric project management phenomena for this week. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we will do this again next week. Goodbye.